Said you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brain Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathways of Life with yours truly, Brain Fitzpatrick. Today, I'm just going to be talking to you by myself, but next week, before I start, next week I'm going to have the mayor of the city of Pittsfield on, and I have a little bit of homework for everyone watching and everyone listening. If you could contact me at wheelingthepathways@gmail.com and give me a list of your questions for the mayor pertaining to disabilities and how he's going to improve communications with everybody, including the disabled, and try to include us in as much as he can, that would be appreciated. And I would ask that you only do, if you're going to email me 1 or 2 lines, or as short as possible, but get direct to your questions, because I only have an hour with him and I don't want to miss anything, or I just want to afford you guys the opportunity to have your questions answered as far as it's pertaining to disabilities and how he's gonna interact with people with disabilities. Thank you, Kelsey. You can drop that now if you want. Today, I want to talk about one of the toughest situations is being disabled. Toughest situation with being disabled. As I say all the time, we are all disabled in some way. But being physically unable to do things for yourself is the toughest thing in the world to do. Especially when you can't keep track of what you have and don't have, because you can't physically get up and look and see what you have and don't have. So I want to talk a little bit about during this segment people taking advantage of people, and I hate doing this subject, but it keeps rearing its ugly head where people think, oh, he's in a chair, he ain't gonna know something missing, or he's in a chair, so he gets money from the state, so let's take a little bit from me. I'll leave him a little bit, but I'll dip my hand into it a little bit, and let me tell you something. Anybody that does that should not be in the field at all. Should not be in the healthcare field at all. Because if anybody's gonna steal from anybody, I'm not gonna tell you who it is, or I'm not gonna get into specifics about the cases that I'm dealing with, but when people get into this field, they tend to get much too comfortable in what they're doing and much too familiar with what goes on in somebody's house. So they feel like they can take advantage of the situation. And let me tell you something. If anybody sees anything, anybody can get anything from this show or any future show, I do not have any room for people taking advantage of other people. I cannot stand that, especially for people that take advantage of the disabled. We all have problems. We all have situations we got to deal with. I'm a Christian, but that is one that I cannot tolerate or be. I can forgive people, but I cannot forget those situations when they happen. It is one of the toughest things to do because you can't legally say that certain people did something without evidence, but it is very hard to trust anybody taking care of you when situations like that happen. And luckily, I have people who are supporting me and who help me through the situations, but I'm talking about the people that don't have anybody to help them through situations. Yes, they might have elder services coming in once in a while to look at situations and see what they're doing, but they are totally within their rights to be as independent as they want to be. Those are the people that I'm concerned about. Those are the people who don't are too trusting for the people that, are in they're too trusting for the people that are in their house. Meaning they're too trusting with the people in their house. They say you can, take whatever you want and stuff like that. you're not the people that are taking care of other people. For the most part, are paid to do so. So if they're making money to provide a service to you, they're getting more than enough compensation to not be taking something from the disabled. And just for information purposes, and again, I'm not going to talk about actual parts of cases, but when you are charged with taking advantage of a handicapped person, even if it's a petty larceny, if you're charged with taking advantage of a handicapped person and taking property away from a handicapped person, that is considered a felony. So you will be, and in some cases, you get up to 2 years or 10 years in jail if you decide to take something from somebody else. Especially from a handicapped person who can't take care of themselves and are reliant on other people to be trustworthy. You expect them to be trustworthy and reliable, and not to do some of the things they do. Some of the things that, so people make mistakes, but when you steal from somebody, you're also hurting somebody's quality of life when you take something from somebody. So I would suggest that I know this is gonna be hard for me to say, but if you feel like you gotta take from a handicapped person, you need to realize that you're gonna be handicapped someday in life. So you're gonna need help from somebody else someday. So imagine if that was you, that you were being taken, something was being taken away from you when you were helping people. If something was being taken away from you when you needed help, how would you feel? And that's what I want you to remember, that you, as caregivers, we trust you. We give you permission to go into things that most people don't have access to. Don't take advantage of that trust. I know it's gonna happen, and I know it's just a way of me letting clients know and letting people know that they need to be careful. But I have made that mistake several times, and I will not stand for it to be done to anybody else. as far as subjects that I'm gonna talk about with the mayor next week, as far as what I'm gonna be bringing up, is evacuation procedures in buildings. I'm going to try to get every department head that's involved with the city in some ways. I may not bring some on because they may not pertain to any subject that we are talking about. Excuse me, but I will bring them on as they pertain to something with disabled, like evacuation procedures. I may bring the police chief on to talk about ways to stay safe financially. Don't give information out that you don't have to, you know. And do everything you can to keep yourself safe, but know that there are people out there to help you stay safe, and we as disabled people need to avail ourselves or ask for the help we need. We cannot be ashamed, and we cannot be, we're bothering them because we asked for so much services already. We can't ask for any more. If we don't ask, they don't know we need services, and we are valuable members of this society, and I will not be silenced because, he's in a chair, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and stuff like that. I've heard that so many times that it ain't even funny, but I will tell you, some of the best education, being in a chair, for me, is some of the best education of how to deal with people than any other education there is. Because you gotta deal with so many different walks of life, so many different opinions, and so many different lifestyles. And sometimes you just gotta deal with the lifestyles. Well, and there's one other thing that I want to discuss real quick, is when you're in somebody else's house, remember, it's not about you being comfortable or you being in charge of what's going on in the house. Don't expect to be given carte blanche to do whatever you want in the house, because that's not gonna happen. I'm a very independent person. Until the day I die, I'm gonna stay as independent as I can. And no one should take that away from me. Until Jesus Christ takes me, I'm gonna be independent physically, independent as much as I can, but I'm going to be more dependent on him than anybody else. And that is the biggest ability anyone can have, is to be right with him and to rely on him. Because if you rely on human beings, you're not gonna get too far in life. If you rely on just human beings and just what they allow you to do, you're not going to get too far. Now, before I get kicked off the air for saying this, no, I'm not gonna get kicked off the air, but I mean, people are here to do things for you and give you the services, but God puts people in your life to give you what you need and give you the tools to work for Him the best they can. And let me tell you something. Personally, this is the greatest job in the world, and any pay on this earth, there is no pay on this earth that is much. My life is much better, and I get many more rewards than just a paycheck. And I work on this show. And what I'm going to be talking about this week for the remainder of this show, and for next week, and for beyond all week, I put in easily 10 to 15 hours a week on just this show alone. And this is just a volunteer show that I do for something to do. But I mean, this is part of who I am. So when we come back, I will get into more of the subjects that we will be talking about, and that will be coming up in the future. We will be right back, folks. After this PSA break, we will be right back.
You're the God of this city. You're the King of these people. You're the Lord of this nation. You are. You're the light in the darkness. You're the hope to the hopeless. You're the peace to the restless. You are. There is no one like our God. There is no one like you, God. Greater things have yet to come, and greater things are still to be done in this city. Greater things have yet to come, and greater things are still to be done here. You're the Lord of creation, the creator of all things. You're the King above all kings. You are. You're the strength in our weakness. You're the love to the broken. You're the joy in the sadness. You are. 'Cause there is no one like our God. There is no one like you, God. Greater things yet to come, and greater things are still to be done in this city. As glory shines from hearts alive with praise to you and love for you in this city. Greater things are yet to come, and greater things still to be done in this city. Greater things yet to come, greater things still to be done here. Thank you, God, you are not done here, Lord. Greater things in this city. Oh, Lord. Thank you, God.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick, bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathways of Life. And with yours truly, Brian Fitzpatrick. And one thing I'd like to say, I got a minute. The main thing I want people to realize is the fact that I want, if anything, this show will provide is the encouragement for people with disabilities and without disabilities in general. Now, as I've said before, anything can be considered a disability, even though it may or may not be legally classified as a disability. Having glasses is a disability because you need your glasses to be able to see the correct way. I need this straw to be able to drink. Now, if I don't have that straw, I can't drink. But what I'm trying to get to is I need people, disabled and not disabled, to not be afraid, to be vocal and say what you need and say what you're thinking. Do it politely, but don't be afraid to be vocal. Okay? We as human beings are here to make things be a light to other people, and to not be afraid to speak up when there's something wrong, or speak up when there's an injustice or something like that. Because if I see something that's wrong, it's my fault for not bringing it up, and it's something that I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life. If I don't bring it up because I have somebody else to take care of that, I'm disabled, so somebody more able-bodied than I am can say something. No. Because if someone in a wheelchair is saying it, or if someone takes the time and says something about something that's wrong, encourages other people to do the same thing. And let me tell you something, and this is no offense, this is my opinion, and this opinion is mine and mine alone. No affiliation with Pittsburgh Community Television or 89.7 WTBR. The most able-bodied people can also be the most disabled people anybody ever wanted to meet. Because they're not afraid. They're afraid to say something when they know they should, or when they know there's situations going on that aren't the way they're supposed to be. Now, this show will not be, I will not be afraid to say what I mean and mean what I say. It'll be polite, and it'll be situations that pertain to what I'm talking about during the time. They are going to respect me, my opinions, and, they're gonna say, well, Brian said it. So Brian said it, and Brian is somebody that is going through something, and if he can say it, then an able-bodied person can say it. If he can say it, why can't I? And I'll tell you something. You can, but you just don't want to. Or you can, but you're afraid. And I'm telling you, there's nothing to be afraid of. Because if you're a believer, if God wants you to say it, if you want to say it, God must have put it in your heart to say it. And if it's something that you feel strongly about saying, there's nothing that God can protect you from. And God already knows what you're going to say. I just feel led to say that even though I'm in a chair, and even though there's people that are classified with disabilities, okay? Yes, they may be physically disabled, but they have minds, they have valuable things to say, and they will be allowed to say them on this show. And if anybody wants to come on and challenge me on what I'm saying and say that sometimes people will just make mistakes, I will agree with you. People make mistakes, but if we're not allowed to make the mistakes, how are we going to learn not to make them? And our life is challenging enough, so what we say should not be criticized to the point where we can't speak up unless it's against the Lord, unless using the Lord's name in vain and stuff like that. That is totally inappropriate to say. And I know I make mistakes in that too, but I'm talking about people who discount what disabled people can, what physically challenged people can do. Life is a challenge. Some of us have more challenges than others. I'm in a chair. What's your challenge? And I want you to think about next time you get mad at somebody. If I'm having a challenge with somebody and something like that, I want to think about what they're going through and not what I'm going through at the moment, to see how I can handle a situation, to diffuse the situation, not to make things worse. And physically, I may get angry. Physically, I may say things. But that's only to get people to listen to what I'm saying, because people tend to not listen to somebody in a chair because they don't think they know what they're talking about. Well, I hate to tell you, but some of what I know is from the best able-bodied people that I know. And I'm telling you, I am able-bodied brain-wise, but physically I am unable to move and do some of the things you guys can do. But I am totally able to have a conversation and realize what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. So, give people the respect they deserve, whether they're in a wheelchair or not, and let's work together and be successful in whatever we decide to do. And our differences, we can have differences, but just realize why we're here and come together on areas that we can come together and try to make Pittsfield the best area in the Northeast that we can. And let's not fight about the small stuff. And let's just keep going and do what we can and work with whoever we need to, whether we got a disability or not. Say what we want to say and don't be ashamed of it. Disabled people, the reason why I'm saying all this, disabled people are discounted all the time because of their And I'm not saying I'm the smartest person around, but some of the most physically disabled people, if you stop and listen to them and you stop and think about what they're saying, some of those people are the smartest people around. Okay. I'm not saying other people aren't smart, but I'm saying, you know, if you take the time and listen to people, you realize we're all working together for the same purpose. We just do it in different ways and different challenges. And there's different pathways for everybody. My pathway is not gonna be your pathway, but each pathway, in my opinion, has to meet in the middle. So as far as a disabled person, yes, I am physically disabled, but not mentally. And I appreciate the city of Pittsfield and even county ambulance treating me like a regular human being and joking with me and having a good time, even in a uncomfortable situation, and treating me like I'm not even in a wheelchair, and treating me like I'm normal. Because we are all normal. We all have challenges. We all have situations that we can deal with. We just deal with them in a different way. Now, when I hear all the time situations like, oh, don't call this person because you're gonna bother them because you called them 5 times already. Well, yeah, I may not want to call them 5 times, but if they have a problem with the way I'm calling them, let them tell me if I've called them too much. Okay? Unless they have a voice, they can tell me, and let the people that have problems with the disabled tell them. I mean, there's no shame and I'm not gonna bite you if you wanna come in and say, you got a problem with what I'm saying, you got a situation. That's how communication works. We can't communicate if we're afraid, because behind in a chair, I may say something wrong and hurt his opinion, hurt his feelings, change his opinion to the way I want to change it and stuff. I'm normal, like anybody else, and I want to be treated like that. And every human being on this earth wants to be treated the same way. I mean, not everybody wants to be treated the same way, nor can be, but everybody has the right to be treated like a human being and be given the same rights as everybody else. Now, everybody has the right to an opinion that everybody doesn't have to agree with everything, but what they do have to agree with, what they should agree with, is the fact that we're all human beings. We're here to do certain gifts, and some of us do them in a wheelchair, some of us do them standing up, some of us do them better than others, but it's nobody should be disrespected or made fun of because they're in a chair or felt less than. And lately I've been feeling less than because disrespected and taken advantage of. And let me tell you something, it's not a very good feeling. And it's pretty sad when happens to be caregivers that are doing it, and you're supposed to be caring for other people. If you don't care about yourself, how are you gonna care about other people? If you can live with yourself when you take from somebody else, fine. But I'll guarantee you one thing, the guilt will, and God's way of saying you did the wrong thing will bring you around to, should bring you around to make things better, not worse. So, as a handicapped individual, I understand problems and I understand difficulties, but I don't understand the excuses of I didn't know any better, or I have this to do or that to do. Well, I do the same thing daily. I get out of bed when I don't want to get out of bed. I gotta go places and do things that I don't want to do. We all have to do it. It's something that we gotta live with. Living with a disability is not the most great, easiest thing to do, or the most fun thing to do, but it's what I've got to deal with, so I'll make the best of a bad situation. Don't sit there and cry about it and say, well, I don't want to do this today, so I can't. You know, I want to feel sorry for myself. What's that gonna do but make things worse for you? So, I just want to say, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to give your opinions. But not everybody's gonna agree with you. I understand that. But when you don't say what you're thinking, you're doing yourself a disservice and the people around you for not giving your opinions because you're afraid of somebody not gonna listen to you because you're in a chair, or you may talk a little funny. So, of what you're saying. So we have voices as disabled people. We should use them. And this show will give you the encouragement, hopefully, to be able to speak for yourself. And don't let anybody speak for you unless you wanna, and unless you need them to help you interpret what you are saying for other people. That's fine, but you gotta let the person do what they want to do as regular human being, because no one is always able to do everything. Everybody needs everybody, and there's not one thing you can do better than I can do. There's things that I can't do that Kelsey can do, or there's things that Kelsey can do that I can't do, or there's things that Russ can't do that I can do, and there's things that I can't do and Russ can. So we need to work together as a team. Nobody on this earth can live totally independent by themselves. We need to work with the people we need to work with, and we need to just be the best people we can be, whether it be in the chair or not, whether it be somebody that's deaf. Somebody needs to just give up the I can be better than you can be, even though I'm in the chair. I'm smarter than anybody. No. You're not. Learn what you can. Understand what you can. And understand it in your way and at your speed. Because your speed is your speed. And you are you. They are they. The people that you are learning from are different people. You are the person you are. You are the greatest person. You are the greatest person you can be, no matter what other people think of you. You're here for a reason. God's got you here for a purpose. Figure out what that purpose is and do it, no matter if you're in a chair or not. Now, I know this has been confusing, but a lot of this is self-empowerment and saying you can do whatever you want to do, even if you're in a chair. So, at this time, I'd like to thank Pittsfield Community Television, the City of Pittsfield, the mayor for coming on next week. That's going to be a big show. I got to put together some questions and some answers and stuff like that. Send them off to him. I'll do that in the next couple of days. I'll send I'll send it in piecemeal, because I'm sure I'm going to get more questions as people want to bring them up. But the show is for you, and we all have voices, whether we're disabled or not, whether we're classified as disabled. Everybody has a disability. Just be the best you can be, and that's all that God is asking for, is to be the best you can be and do what He has asked you to do, and be where He's put you, and understand that no matter if people don't like you or like you, whatever, as long as God's happy with you, and people are happy with you, that you're around and being in charge of what you can be in charge of, and letting people be in charge of what they need to be in charge with. That's all you be in charge of what you're in charge with. And let people do what they need to do and be in charge of what they need to be in charge. You can only do what you can do. But the biggest thing is treat people with respect. And hopefully, not all the time, they will treat you with respect too. Now, again, a lot of this is not something that I needed to say to a lot of people. But even if I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself too. I put a lot of people down. I say a lot of things that I don't mean because I get angry, because I'm in the chair. I get frustrated because people don't do things for me the way I want it to be done. But I need to learn the same thing people out there need to learn too. Is be patient, be kind, be trustworthy, and this world will be a better place for it. And we can do what we can do, and only worry about what you can do. Don't worry about what anybody else can do. We can only be in charge of and be ready to accept the consequences and just be who we can be and who we're meant to be, as far as the people that we love and that we care about, know us to be, and the one that we should love and care about, Jesus Christ, and the way he lives is the way I want to live. And that is the way that every human being should be, whether they're disabled or not. So, with that, folks, this has been Brain Fitzpatrick with Wheeling the Pathway to Life. And basically what I'm said today is everybody has a pathway, and what they choose to do with it is their choice. But make the pathway the best pathway you can, and only worry about your pathway and how you can meet other people in their pathway where they are. And with that, folks, this has been Brain Fitzpatrick with Wheeling the Pathway to Life. We will see you next week with the mayor of the city of Pittsfield, and it will be a great show. And I hope you all tune in. We will see you next week. Thank you.